ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So we're discussing from chapter 8, text 13. So I will repeat the verse. Please repeat after me. Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Yah prayati tyajan deham.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Yah prayati tyajan deham.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Anybody would like to?
Om iti ekaksharam brahma.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Yah prayati tyajan deham.
Yah prayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim. Anybody else?
Om idyekaksharam brahma.
Om iti ekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Yaprayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Om ityekaksharam brahma.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Vyaharan mam anusmaran.
Prayati tyajan deham.
Yah prayati tyajan deham.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Sayati paramam gatim.
Okay. Om.
Om.
The combination of letters Om, Omkara.
The combination of letters Om, Omkara.
Iti.
Iti.
Thus.
Thus.
Ekaksharam.
Ekaksharam.
The one syllable.
The one syllable.
Brahma.
Brahma.
Absolute.
Absolute.
Vyaharan.
Vyaharan.
Vibrating.
Vibrating.
Mam.
Mam.
Me.
Me.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Anusmaran.
Anusmaran.
Remembering.
Remembering.
Yaha.
Yaha.
Anyone who.
Anyone who
Prayati.
prayati
Leaves.
leaves
Tyajan.
tyajan
Quitting.
quitting
Deham.
deham.
This body.
This body.
Saha. He. Yati. Achieves. Paramam.
Paramam.
The supreme. Gatim.
Gatim.
Destination.
Destination.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating this... Oh, sorry. Okay. I will repeat definitely. After being situated
After being situated
in this yoga practice
in this yoga practice
and vibrating
and vibrating
the sacred syllable Om,
the sacred syllable Om,
the supreme combination of
the
letters,
supreme combination of letters,
if one thinks
if one thinks
of the supreme personality of Godhead
the supreme personality of Godhead
and quits his body,
and quits his body,
he will certainly reach
he will certainly reach
the spiritual planet.
the spiritual plans.
Say our prayers before we go for the purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from purport of chapter 8, text 13. Please hear. It is clearly stated here that Om, Brahman, and Lord Krishna are not different. The impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna contains Om. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is clearly recommended for this age. So if one quits his body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavan. For the personalist, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyoti. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, the title of this chapter is Attaining the Supreme. Arjuna asks many questions in the beginning of the chapter. He asks questions, what is Adhyatma, what is Adideva, who is the Lord of Sacrifice, so many questions he asks. So Krishna answers in different ways, and then Krishna goes in the line of answering that how, as the chapter title says, that how one is supposed to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the method? What is the method to go to or to reach the Supreme Planet, right? So, or what is the route to reach the Supreme Planet? So, to reach one destination, there are many ways. Do we agree on this? Right? So, from here, if we have to go to some famous spot,
Montreal.
Fine. Montreal. I travel to Ottawa every week, and then I realize that there are two paths to Ottawa. One is, which Prabhu will very well know, is that you just take 401 and keep driving all the way, and then you will get one exit 723, and then you get 416 and you hit Ottawa. Lately, I realized that Google Maps, if you put in the first time when I went to Ottawa, I just put in the address, and because we stay in Stouffville, it took us behind some forest area and behind some mountains that looked almost like Himalayas, and then it went and kept going. And then on 401 it says you will reach Ottawa in 4 hours and so minutes. But through the back route, you reach in like some 3 hours and something. You save like 45 minutes. Anybody been to Ottawa? Yeah, you know that. So yeah, you save about 45 minutes. Right? Initially, I was very excited. I was like, wow, this is like a breakthrough, right? Like my drive will be very quick. But later I realized that path that goes behind, it's a very drowsy path. And it's all local. It's not like a highway. It's very local, and it goes through all these small townships. Everywhere the speed is like 60, 80, 75, and to my extreme unfortunate luck, recently I got caught also. I was driving in one of these ways. I was very excited that I'm reaching shortcut, I'm getting to Ottawa, but shortcut has lot of speed limits, and So obviously that was a very tragic story. I don't want to narrate that, but whatever happened, lot of losses. But and then there is the highway, the 401 expressway highway, where you just travel in breeze. You can put your car in cruise mode and the car will just go. But don't sleep because the car is not going to drive on its own. You have to drive, but you can still go smoothly without any uh, speed brakes or anything like that. So that same analogy can be applied in our today's chapter. Is that Krishna is saying one path which the yogis take and one path which the bhakti yogis take. The dhyana yogis also there are many ways to reach Krishna. There is one way is the dhyana yogis way. The dhyana yogis way is a little bit on the difficult side. It is just like taking the back roads. You have to be very careful. You have to always, you have to watch your speeds. So just like that, we have to always be controlling our senses. We cannot if you're sitting, you have to sit in complete dhyana, focus, right? Little bit, you know what you say, you go off from your path, you're falling down. Just like that route, right? From 60, if you fly to 80, OPP will be there, immediately will catch you, will impound you, will cancel your license, you'll be thrown back. Then you start from 0-1. If your luck is very bad, your license is gone, then you start from G1. Write your exam, and then write G2 and G. But when you're driving on the highway, if the highway limit is what? Is around 110 is the speed. You drive at 115, you drive, is okay. They will catch you also, they will light little bit fine, but they'll say it's okay, go on, and you'll be pushed away. So the Bhakti Yoga, the path of Bhakti Yoga is also like that. The path of Bhakti Yoga is that, okay, Krishna very well understands that you cannot control all your senses. Arjuna also is telling Krishna, previously he's told Krishna, sense control is not possible. It is like controlling the wind. I can control the wind, but I cannot control the senses. He says all of that. So Krishna is giving easy path. He's just like, the easy path he's saying is that follow the 4 regulative principles, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and practice this throughout your life. So at the time of death, you will be able to think of me and you'll come home back to me. That's the path. Specifically here, Krishna is, before telling the easy path, you need to know what the hard path is. Because sometimes you give the easy path, then people will think that no, that path is more, the more complicated the path is, the human brain thinks that is the best thing to do, right? So it's a very common thing in amongst engineering students, is that if you give anything easy, they will just feel like not interesting. But if you give them something very complicated, where you'll have to solder a few things and they will feel like they have done some work, right? So this dhyana yogi path is like that. You have to control your senses. You have to do all sorts of asanas, and you have to cut down on food. You have to eat roots and vegetables and
Sit in an idle place.
Huh?
Sit in an idle place.
Sit in an idle place. 7th chapter says Suchinam Srimad. No, what is it? You have to put some deer skin cloth, and you have to all of these things are mentioned, that you have to sit in certain way and do it. So it's a difficult process. You have to maintain celibacy. You should not stay in the city. You have to stay outside the city. So some people who are thinking that we are living in Stouffville and Stouffville is not city, that is also city. You have to go even further outside into the forest and live over there. So all of these things are practically impossible in this age of Kali Yuga. To our extreme good luck, Krishna also understands it. His devotee Arjuna also understands it. And we are also in that position. So it's a very win-win situation for all of us. In this particular purport, Krishna is explaining the hard path that the yogis do. So he's saying, in the previous sloka, they say that, you should be detached from all sensual engagements and closing all doors of senses, fixing the mind on the heart and life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. So all of these things are there. So these things are easier said than done. After doing this, after doing all of these said things, in this sloka he's saying, when the person performing this is situated in such a practice of yoga, very silently within himself he murmurs the Omkara. What is the Omkara, anybody? Yeah. What is the murmuring of the Omkara? Anybody heard of that before?
Combination of 3 syllables.
Combination of 3 syllables. But what is murmuring of Omkara? What is it?
Focus.
No, murmuring of Omkara is just like this. Om. That is just murmuring. So, like this, after controlling all their senses, they're putting your mind on the mind in the heart. You're murmuring the Omkara, the syllable Om, and like that you have to keep doing it for years together, right? By the way, for the devotees just walked in, we are on chapter 8, text 13.
Prabhu's doing senior spirits upstairs.
That's chapter 8, text 13. So, and while murmuring this Omkara, if one is thinking, while murmuring this Om, the syllable Om, and simultaneously thinking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if that person quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So what all needs to be done to reach the spiritual planet? Anybody? Step by step.
Murmur the sound.
Murmur the sound Om.
One thinks of the Supreme Personality of God.
So murmur the sound Om, think about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No, it doesn't say chant Hare Krishna here. It says if you're chanting, if you're murmuring Om, how you can chant Hare Krishna? So you're murmuring Om, you're, what is the other point? Mataji, you said, thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then?
Then they reach the Brahma Jyoti.
No, the first line. After being situated in this yoga practice.
Vibrating.
So vibrating Om, thinking of Krishna, that we can sit aram se here also and do, no? But before that, in the previous sloka, it is saying that all the senses have to be retracted. All the senses have to be retracted. You cannot think of anything material. You cannot think of having palatable food. You cannot think of any comfort. Everything is gone. You give up everything and you live like a forest mendicant life. After you're situated in that aspect, then you murmur Om, then you think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and keep on doing until the day the death comes for you, and then you think of the Lord, and then you're going to the spiritual planet. How easy is this? Monica Mata is saying very easy.
It's not easy, but what I'm trying to think is at this point, the person doesn't know he's going to quit the body, right? But he's anticipating death, or I'm going to...
No, he's not anticipating death. Death can come anytime. Anytime.
But he's doing this practice just because you don't know when.
Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know when he's going to. Dhyana yogis also have this aspect where if the person is practicing very well, if he's like what you call by definition yogi, he has controlled all his attachment, detachment. Then you hear this happening in the previous yugas. Paripurna Prabhu explained last week, they will open something called through the Sushumna Nadi, the Agnya Chakra will open, and he can choose the time of his leaving the soul. He will become self-realized to know that he is the soul, and he can come out of the entrapment of this body. So this body is considered to be a cage. Although we love this body so much, we take care of it and we do all of that, we don't understand that we are inside this cage. We can say verbally, but that realization has not dawned upon us. For example, if we are staying in a confined cell, every day we are taking wet cloth and we are wiping all the bars neatly and making it shine. So we are thinking that this is my life. But the person does not understand that he is in the cell. Similarly, we are also keeping our body fit and fine and good, which is all good. We need to do that. But we are thinking we are the body. We don't know that we are trapped in this body. Right? But a yogi who becomes self-realized knows that I am the self, I am the soul, and then as the soul, he is able, because of his realization, is able to leave his body at his own chosen time. Right? So this used to happen in the previous yugas, in the Treta Yuga or in Satya Yuga or maybe even in Dwapar Yuga. But that possibility happening in Kali Yuga is quite different, quite difficult, right? So to murmur Om, to think of the Lord, to have no attachments and to stay in some sort of wilderness, it's not a possibility of this age, right? It is very difficult. So that means if we all cannot do it, and Bhagavatam is also proclaiming that Kalir doshe nidhe rajan astihi eko mahan guna. This age of Kali Yuga, doshe nidhe rajan is the ocean of miseries and faults, right? Also it is saying prayena alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana. Prayena alpayusha, people in this age, have small, little bit age, right? 60, 70, 80 is like you're pushing it too far, right? With all sorts of modern medications and all, to keep the body till 80 is very difficult. Very rarely you will hear somebody who has touched 90. It's very rare. I mean, maybe in my grandfather's generation, maybe 80, 90 was a common thing. But now in this generation, I hope people agree that 90 and all is a tough thing, right? So I think maybe in the future, if somebody hits 90, government might start giving awards also. You never know, right? Like if you have maintained such, actually.
Or punish.
Huh?
Or punish.
Or punish. Or punish. Both ways are possible. How long will you give a pension, right? But actually, I just remembered one point. Government of India actually granted this one Yogi ji, I forget his name, some Padma Bhushan award because he was practicing yoga and now he's like, Babaji is like around
100 plus?
100 plus years, no, 106 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, but of course, he was living a very sattvic lifestyle and he was practicing Krishna consciousness and everything out of the matter. But I'm just saying that, to find such a thing is a very difficult task. Living for a long life is prayana alpayusha sabhya. So our lifespan is very small. In the lifespan, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that half life is gone only in sleeping. If you sleep, half life is gone for sleeping only if you sleep between 6 to 7 hours. Some people sleep for 10 hours, they wake up, they're tired, they go back to sleep. So that is 75% gone, 75-80% gone. So we're talking about people who live a regulated life. If you live for human beings, the Shastra is saying that, like people like us, Prabhupada also says 6 to 7 hours of sleep is required. It is required, correct? So if you sleep like that, Prahlad Maharaj is saying 50% of the life is gone in sleeping. Another 20%, 25% of the life is gone in education, in eating, and all of these activities are gone. Then another 10 to 15% of life is gone in getting married, taking care of children, growing them up, and all of that sort of stuff. So then where is time for your spiritual practice, right? That spiritual practice also, what we are trying to do, morning 15 minutes, evening just before going to sleep 15 minutes. In this 30 minutes, we are trying to find a solution that will go home back to God, correct? To become a doctor or to become, what is more tougher exams, a chartered accountant, to become all these big medical professionals and all these, these certifications. I personally know people, they study day and night. They are juggling family life, professional life, and also doing the studies. With lack of sleep, you will look at somebody who's studying CA, you will look, they have always dark circles underneath their eyes. Anytime, right? You slap him in the middle of the night, they will start telling formulas. They will not remember anything. But this is their life. Because why? They want to achieve some goal. Will a person trying to study medical professional or trying to study something like that, if he studies morning 15 minutes, night 15 minutes, and in between, do your thing, will they be able to achieve? No. In normal material world only, in this world, to achieve something material, that will also give you something temporary, we need to work hard. Now, we all want to achieve something that is outside this material world. that which is not seen with our naked eye, that is just given, we have to perform so much sadhana, morning 15 minutes, night 15 minutes if you do, where you'll go? You'll probably go from Stouffville to Markham and you'll come back to Stouffville. That's all. Nothing will happen. Right? But all of this, Krishna understands. All of this, Vyasdeva understands. Right? Because they understand, we are lucky. If they didn't if your boss doesn't understand your problem, then you're gone. Then you're trapped under that, him or her. Right? You're trapped. But if your boss understands your problem, then he will make little bit adjustments. Right? If you have very important appointment today, our Prabhu will agree with me. If you have very important appointment today, or you have to take your child to some doctor or something like that, but boss is saying, no, you have to work. No, saying I have to take, no, nothing doing. Then you're stuck. But if your boss is a nice person and he understands, okay, no problem, just go and you cover your work later on, then we're lucky. So in our case, Krishna is very merciful. He understands our situation. He's himself saying, Vyasdev himself is saying, that people of your age in this Kali Yuga, age is very small. On top of the age being small, you people are very unfortunate people. You people are also miserable people. And you people are also less intelligent people. All good qualities we have check. Right? Small age, foolish, super foolish, also unfortunate. Only bad luck. Life full is bad luck. Bad luck and less memory, miserable. Everything is there. So, in this situation, how you can follow this path? How, with all these things, how you can cut out everything and live? You can't. Right? So, Prabhupada is saying that Om is good. Krishna is saying in somewhere else in the Bhagavad Gita, I forget which chapter, Pranava Omkara. Krishna is saying, I am Om. The word Om and Krishna are non-different. It is here Prabhupada is saying the impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound Hare Krishna also contains Om. And in the translation, Prabhupada has written, Krishna is saying, and Prabhupada also is translating the same way, that the syllable Om is the supreme combination of letters. So now let's discuss what Om is. Because Om, amongst our community or the Indian community, we all know Om. It's like by default we have learnt Om. But our understanding of Om is very limited or rather unknown. So the teachers say what Om are. So previous acharyas say what Om is and how the Hare Krishna Mahamantra also contains Om. Now, when somebody reads this point that the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is clearly the impersonal sound of Krishna is Om, but the sound of Hare Krishna contains Om, then the first question that you will ask is, so why I should chant this 16-letter long thing? I can just chant Om. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that a correct question to ask?
Yeah.
So then I'll ask you what's the answer. Why all the intelligent acharyas, but if we say this is true, then we are saying that all the acharyas before us are all less intelligent people and we are intelligent. Because we found something that they didn't find. Is that also true? Is that a correct logic? If we say, if here according to Prabhupada's point it is saying that the impersonal sound of Krishna is Om and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra contains Om. And we are also saying our age is less, we are unfortunate, we are miserable. So why are we chanting such a long Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Why can't we chant Om, which is just 2 letters?
Because
3 letters rather.
yeah, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra contains both the impersonal and the personal form.
The impersonal and the personal form. Okay. Any other answer? Right?
Om you cannot visualize anything, no?
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, you can visualize.
Okay. Prabhu, what do you think? Mataji, what do you think? When I said Prabhu, what do you think? Who responded? Which Prabhu picked up their head? How do you know that Prabhu? I was talking to that Prabhu. When I said Mataji, which Mataji saw me?
Because of the name associated, that's the logic.
No. I said Mataji, you didn't lift your head. Some other Mataji lifted your head. But when I said Prabhu, okay, Prabhu. You said eyes. I closed my eyes. Could be anybody.
Could be.
If I said Mataji and if I closed my eyes, it could be any Mataji. Now, if I'm saying Om, who am I calling? Who am I calling? Right
Some
now,
God.
Prabhupada is saying Om is representation of Krishna, okay. But what more about it? There's nothing more about it. I mean, or rather, our understanding is limited. It stops right there. So, every Upanishad, the Veda starts with Om. The Bhagavatam starts, what's the first line of Bhagavatam? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Then Janmadhyasya Yato Anvayaditaratas. It starts. The Upanishad starts with Om, the Veda starts with Om, the Vedanta Sutra starts with Om. Rather, it is said that it was the Om originated from Krishna's flute, went into Brahma's heart, and then Brahma was able to make this entire creation. Or rather, Brahma was able to, Brahma was able to do tapasya. The tapasya. So, when Prabhupada says that the sound Hare Krishna contains Om, what it means, analogy that was given, is that the Om is the seed for everything that comes out of it, right? So, when from the Om comes the Gayatri Mantra, from the Gayatri Mantra comes the Veda, from the Veda comes the Vedanta Sutra, etc. And then from all of that finally comes the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Om is like the seed and the Srimad Bhagavatam or is like the fruit of the tree or fruit from that particular tree. Or you can say the Om is the seed and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is finally the delicious fruit from that tree. Now, you want to enjoy the fruit? So if you want to enjoy the mango fruit, you will eat the fruit and then there is a seed within it. Correct? That seed is the Om. And then there is fruit out. So when they say that the Om is inside Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that's what it means. You're tasting the mango and you feel the seed inside it. But if you're saying, no, I will eat the seed, will you get the taste of the mango? I can take raw, dried mango seed and I'll give it to you and say, this is mango, eat it. How many of you will enjoy it? You will not enjoy it, right? So if I put the statement this way, then obviously in your mind it might seem that Om has no value. Oh, that means Om has no value. Om is useless, right? I mean, if I'm putting my argument this or my statement this way, it might look like that Om has no value, but Om does have value. So if Om has value and Hare Krishna Mahamantra also has value, then what is the difference will be the final question. So the answer to that is, uttering of Om definitely is very auspicious and it is definitely spiritual. But what Om can do is that it can only release you from the cycle of birth and death, right? But what Hare Krishna Mahamantra can do is not only release you from the cycle of birth and death, but also award you a position in the spiritual world whereby you will serve the Supreme Personality of God eternally. There is a difference. Now we'll dig into this difference further. Here, Prabhupada said that if a person vibrates the syllable Om, and if he thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, quits his body, he will reach the spiritual planets. Okay. Here in the purport, Prabhupada was also mentioned, where is it? Last line. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma Jyoti. So, Krishna has three aspects. There is this one of the aspects called Brahma Jyoti, which is the effulgence emanating from his body. This is called Brahma Jyoti. And a way to understand that would be, if you look at the sun, we are receiving the sunshine, right? But we should also realize that the shine is actually coming from a body, which we call it as the sun disk, sun planet, etc. So there is a generating body that produces the sun. So similarly, when we are located in this bubble where we have 14 planetary systems, the upper planetary, middle planetary, lower planetary, for which the head is Brahma, and we are from the top, we are on the 7th planet, which is called the Earth planet, Mrityuloka, Bhuloka, these are all the names. And our goal is to come out of this, what we call Brahmanda, or this egg-shaped universe that we are in, come out of it and go into the spiritual world. Now, just a graphic view is that when you come up, let's assume that we're a practiced devotee and we have done everything correct as per the Shastras and we're going home back to Godhead. Let's have a positive hope. So, when we leave this Brahmanda, there is a river that is called Viraja. We have to cross this river, and after you cross this river, there is this absolute bright light, completely bright light. Now, there is nothing in this bright light. This bright light is basically Krishna's effulgence called as Brahma Jyoti. The impersonalists, which Prabhupada is mentioning here, I think he mentioned, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahma. Impersonalists are those category of people or those type of people who believe that Krishna don't have a form or the Supreme Godhead does not have a form. Or rather they believe that from light originated Krishna. Light gave birth to Krishna, or from light, the energy is the Supreme. That light is there, that is the Supreme. And we are all beings created out of that light. Right? And they think that Krishna is just a byproduct or a product emanating from the light. But we don't believe that. We believe that Krishna was always existing. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda. Anadir Adir means forever in the past. You can never find a time in which you can say that, this is the birth of Krishna, or this is when he was created. And there will never also be an end. So it is an unending existence for which we cannot find time. But the impersonalists say that, okay, Krishna, there was some, they will quote also Bhagavad Gita. By the way, impersonalists are experts in Bhagavad Gita. They will say that yada yada hi dharmasya, whenever there is a problem in this earth, Bhagavad Gita says that Krishna will take birth or Krishna will descend. So they won't say descend, they will say birth. He will come and he will reset the dharmic order in the material world. So they say he emanates from the light, right? So those people who think like this and who are also well versed in Shastra, who also mutter, and they are very much experts at muttering Om, they will go into this Brahma Jyoti. That's what Prabhupada says, whereas the impersonalists remain in Brahma Jyoti. Now what happens is, right now we are thinking, the sunshine is everything. I'm happy in the sunshine is everything is only half knowledge. You are not realizing that there is a sun disk. You are not realizing that there could be something beyond the sun disk. You are thinking that sunlight is everything, right? So I'm sorry, this is getting a little technical, but it's important to understand this aspect so that we can understand further things better. So this Brahma Jyoti is absolute light everywhere. Now what happens when somebody goes to Brahma Jyoti? What happens? Now Brahma Jyoti is a part where the soul just goes and stays there. But that's it, nothing happens. There is no interaction. There is no like interacting with one another. There is no recreation. You'll be happy. You will be in what you call bliss, right? Or
solitude, basically.
Brahmananda. You will be in the how do I put it in material terms? Okay, let's take it this way. Ananda. How do I explain Ananda? Okay. So you're living here in Stouffville, but we are not in Ananda. But let's bring Ananda into our lives. How will we bring? Is that you have a house, everything is paid for,
correct.
You don't have to go to work, money is coming in, kids are taken care of, wife is not disturbing, you're not working, so whole question of boss is not there, traveling is not there, gas you don't have to put, snow you don't have to clean, you don't have to do anything. No one is bothering you, wife is also happy, kids are also happy, everybody is happy. No one is bothered with you, no one is complaining about you, no one is asking you to do anything. Some Prabhus are already gone into bliss. That's not the case. Brahma Jyoti is like that. For Matajis, you don't have to cook, children are not asking anything, Prabhus are not asking you anything. Everything that is in your mind, whether it is sari, gold, diamond, everything is like you're all happy, completely happy. But you have no interaction with anything or anybody. There is no thing to feel or enjoy, or there is nobody you can discuss. Even sometimes, Prabhus and Matajis, if we feel happy about something, if I bought a new car, I will tell somebody, na, hey, I bought a new car, the car has this features, very nice, electric, non-electric, whatever.
Sure.
You have to tell somebody. Only two people can live like that, in solitude. Can anybody live in solitude? After living in married life, you can live in solitude for 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, 1 month. After that, you will also go crazy. You can't live in solitude. Solitude is not the answer. Anybody agree or disagree? Who thinks solitude is the answer to the problem? Who thinks that most of us are all in our married life? So this applies to both Matajis and Prabhus. After working so hard, maintaining children, house, family, gluing all of these things together, we are working hard. Na? It's not easy to glue because two different mindsets are coming and it's always like two stones scratching each other, right? Always something will be there. Do you think the answer to that is, I'll just separate all of these things, I'll live by myself, I will work, I will earn, I will be... Do you think you will be happy with solitude?
No. We are social animals.
We are social animals. You need someone to interact. This Brahmananda, that bliss, is nice, like we said, only for 1 month, 2 months. This bliss.
Right.
So when Prabhupada says these impersonalists remain in Brahma Jyoti, this Brahma Jyoti is considered to be a material manifestation of the Supreme Lord. It is still spiritual because you're getting some ananda. But what happens is when a soul goes into this Brahma Jyoti, he stays there. Initially is very like, okay, no one's bothering me, or he doesn't have to, there is no question of thinking for yourself, because the identity, although does not, you don't lose your identity, but your identity is forgotten. Monica Mataji is not Monica Mataji. You are a soul. But you will not recognize that I am Monica. That there's no question of that. Your identity is forgotten. You are just like in a group of things where nobody interacts with nobody. You can't see anybody. You are just in bliss. You're in a bliss state. That's it. Yeah. Right? Or in medical terms, what is that thing that they give to put you in bliss? Like you go like high or something. What is that? Anesthetic? Is that anesthetic? Or some drug? No, they put that drug, that famous drug. These drug addicts take and then they go all crazy.
No doctors here. No doctors.
I'm looking at my wife and thinking she might.
We have.
Yeah. Is it? Is that LSD, cocaine, you know?
Okay, LSD.
For like couple of minutes, they will just be like, Prabhupada also used to say, the LSD people, they will always remain in high, like nothing going on. But like, how long you live like that, Baba? So Prabhupada, so that is the thing. So, after some time, when this bliss gets too much, when the solitude gets too much, the living entities in the Brahma Jyoti, they will start to vibrate. They'll start to move around. Because they'll be like, okay, no recreation, no interaction, what to do? And from there, because their vibration gets too much, their movement gets too much, then they need something, they fall from the Brahma Jyoti down into this material world. So that is why it is said that when you go to Brahma Jyoti, that doesn't mean that you will stay there permanently. There is a chance of you falling down. When you fall down, then you start back. Spiritual process, karma yoga, you do good thing, you have to pay for it, you do bad thing, you have to enjoy it. All of this cycle, if you're lucky, or maybe you could come into some Krishna conscious path, you pick up the path, you follow the process. If you did everything right, then you go home back to Godhead. Now this go home back to Godhead means what? Now we've discussed Brahma Jyoti. Beyond Brahma Jyoti is the real manifestation of the spiritual world, which is called the Vaikuntha planets. Beyond Brahma Jyoti. So, people who are uttering Om or uttering different sorts of mantras, Om Namo Narayana Maha, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and they're chanting it, they're following everything the Shastra is saying, they will go into one of these Vaikuntha planets, which is permanent. You could, if somebody is a devotee of, let's say, Lord Ramchandra, then there is a place called Ayodhya in the Vaikuntha planets. You will go off to Ayodhya. Ram Bhaktas go there. If somebody is Upasak of Lord Narsimhadev, then they go to the Narsimhadev's Loka. There is a Loka for that, the Matsya Loka, Vamana Loka. And you will get very nice bodies. There is no question of birth, death, old age, disease. And that's a permanent situation. Right? Narayana will be the Supreme Personality of Godhead there. But what is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra guaranteeing you? The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is saying that even above the Vaikuntha Loka, there is a Loka called the Goloka Vrindavan. That is the topmost planet in the spiritual creation, which is called Tripada Vibhuti, or 3/4 of the creation. 1/4 is only material world. Ekapada Vibhuti, 1/4 is this material world that, all this Brahmanda, Brahma, hellish planet, no hellish planet, Indra, Chandra, everybody, all of this is in the 1/4 creation. In the 3/4 creation is Vaikuntha, and on top of Vaikuntha, on the topmost place is called the Goloka Vrindavan. And Harinam Sankirtan, it is said, Golokera Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is coming from Goloka. It is not coming from some regular place. It's coming from the topmost planet. Think of it like a rope thrown directly into the well, which will take you to the best position. That is what Hare Krishna Mahamantra is all about. Am I making sense so far?
Yes.
Is there any ambiguity in anything, or anything that is shaking reality? No. So far we are okay. Right. So you can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and you can still end up in Vaikuntha planets. The underlying point is, Prabhupada says, according, if you look at that line, so if one quits the body at the end of life chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of practice. That is an important word. In the next line, Prabhupada says, the devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet. So what is the distinction? Same Mahamantra, one person is going to destination A, another person is going to destination B. What is the meaning of it? The meaning is, what is the mood in which you are approaching a person, right? There is a famous verse in Bhagavad Gita that last week the devotees who were doing shloka competition were mentioning it. Just trying to think. Priti Purvakam. Dadami Buddhi. What is the verse? I forget. There was some word called Priti Purvakam. Anyways. So it is saying that somebody is approaching Krishna, they are worshipping him, they are paying obeisances to him, they are offering him everything, and they are going away. Person B is also doing the same thing, but he is doing it out of love, right? He is doing it out of love. Even in love, there are different gradations. One person is praying to the Supreme Lord out of, oh, you are the Lord and I am your servant. There is a, what do you call?
Awe and adoration.
Awe and reverence, but another word for that would be...
Dasya.
No, Dasya is also okay.
That you are asking, it is 10 chapter 10 sloka.
What is it? Can you repeat?
Tesam satatvam
Yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti. Tesham satata yuktanam. That person who is constantly, satata means constantly, or at least in our terms, constantly is not possible. 24/7 we are not. But every day, fixed time. 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever our schedule of sadhana is. When we are doing that, but it is devoid of priti, there is devoid of love, but we are doing it mechanically. Okay, twist it 3 times, 4 times. Agarbatti goes into a pot plant, or it goes outside the house because the smoke alarms will ring. Or we're taking the flowers, okay, we have to put one at the feet, we have to put one at the head. And one definitely should put near Krishna's heart because Lakshmi lives there and we need Lakshmi. So all of these things, we're just very mechanically just doing it. But there is no attachment to Krishna. Father has told, or some devotee in the temple has told, something we'll be doing and going. It is good. That is also good activity because it is purifying you. Internally, it is purifying you. And if you continue like that, and if you have been little bit more progress, if you do, you can end up in the Vaikuntha planet. See, entering into Vaikuntha planets is no joke, right? If somebody who really loves Lord Ramchandra only can go to Ayodhya. Nobody else can go. It's not that, oh, you close your eyes and you think of Ram, you cannot go. Some people, their mood of devotion to the Supreme Lord will be in awe and reverence. That the Lord is supreme and master, and I am just a tiny, like an insignificant person. And if you're praying like that, and especially if you're feeling that Lord Vishnu or Lord Narayana is everything, it's possible that you could end up in one of the Vaikuntha planets. But to enter into Goloka Vrindavan is somewhere where this Hare Krishna Mahamantra will make you feel, and if you chant right, and if you are practicing it right, and over a period of time if you're following the rules and regulations, reading the Shastra, associating the devotees, what will happen is there will be a relation with the Lord that you can relate to, right? That relation could be paternal, it could be maternal, it could be friendship, it could be as a
Servant.
servant,
Love.
yeah,
Vatsalya,
Vatsalya, Madhurya.
and Madhurya.
Yeah, it could be as a position of where you will feel like he's our beloved, right? So these things are not obscure. We have examples in our real life. You've heard of Mirabai, for example. Mirabai always thought that the Lord was her husband, right? One is to think artificially. Artificially gets you nowhere. But to actually feel that and to get that relation, that is the ultimate success of life. If you get that, if a sadhaka or a practitioner is having that sort of relationship with the Lord, then whether you live in the material world, spiritual world, doesn't matter, because you're always situated in Krishna consciousness. So that consciousness is already raised. But eventually that person goes home back to Godhead. Now, all of these relationships are only possible, that only mantra available is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, right? It might sound like, oh, okay, Prabhu, you are just trying to push your point. It's a biased point. No, but all the scriptures are proclaiming the same thing, right? All scriptures are, even Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, 13th chapter, 15th verse. The verse is not coming into my head, but it is saying that all sorts of miseries and issues are just destroyed by taking one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Those are all just basic. They're all taken care of. See, one is to say that I will chant this mantra and my sins will be destroyed, is okay. But what about the tendency to commit the sin? Elephant is going and taking bath in the water, and he's clean. The elephant comes out, takes the mud and again puts on himself. So what's the point of taking bath then? Correct? Is it making sense?
Yeah.
You still have the tendency to commit nonsense.
Yeah.
That tendency has to be destroyed. And that tendency is only destroyed by the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then you will be open to this, it will open your pathway to go home back to Goloka, which is not available with any other mantra. And this is not my personal proclamation. It is a proclamation from the Vedas, it's a proclamation from the Puranas, the Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada is saying the same thing. So which is why we're asking devotees, and Prabhupada, if you look at almost out of the 700, 750 purports that Srila Prabhupada has written in this book, I would say at least 80% of the purports will have where Prabhupada, 80-85% of the purports Prabhupada will say that chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is very important. Right? So my question, our question will be, nothing is free in this material world. So then there is also a cost for chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is the cost? At what cost will you be chanting it? What is the cost that you have to pay to chant this holy name? If you go elsewhere, if any Babaji has to give you or any Sant Sadhu has to give you something, if you give something, then you get something. Am I right?
Transaction.
Huh?
It's a transaction.
It's a transaction. So why Krishna conscious has to be also different? There is a transaction here also. What is that transaction? What does it cost a devotee to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? What is the cost for it?
Sacrificing the time.
Sacrificing the time. Anything else? Anyone can think of anything else?
Sacrificing as much material activities as possible, which takes us away from devotional service.
That's great. That I would say that is more of an intermediate level, beginning, what are you giving? What are you paying to chant this Hare Krishna? What is the cost? There's got to be a cost. Nothing is free in this material world, and there can be never a truer line than that. You can't think of anything. The only thing you're paying is with time. Just asking 10 minutes to chant one round. That's all it takes. And that also Krishna is returning back the time. Neha Bikrama Nasosti Pratyavayu na vidyate Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahatopayat. Little bit also if you chant on this, there is no loss or diminution. So your time is also returned back to you. You don't lose that also. So in a sense, Krishna consciousness, chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the only thing that is free in this material world. Even the air you breathe is not free. The air you breathe is because you have done some good karmas, that is why you are able to breathe today. Otherwise, some people are born with a pipe and will die with a pipe. Nothing is free. Some people don't even see the sun rays outside their light because if the rays hit them, then they have many diseased conditions. You are probably aware. Some people can't live in light. They have to live in darkness. So nothing is free. Whatever we are thinking is free is not free. The only thing that is free in this material world is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which you pay with time, which Krishna returns back with interest. He gives it back. So is it a profit or is it a profit? It's a profit. So the final question will be, how many of you are not chanting? Or how many of you are not taking Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or taking the name of the Lord? And what will it require you to take the name of Hare Krishna Mahamantra or to chant this one round? One round takes what, 7 to 10 minutes?
Normally 7 minutes, but if you do slow, 10 to 12 minutes.
10 to 12 minutes. 7 minutes. We are not slow people. We are pretty fast. 7 minutes. So what does it take for devotees who are not chanting to chant that one round? What does it take? Commitment. So are you able to give that commitment? Is it fair to ask that Prabhus and Matajis, for your own sake and also for our sake, because we need your association, that give Krishna 7 minutes of your time every day. At some morning, evening, night, midnight, between office, after office, that is all on you. Whenever you want. Krishna is not saying, Krishna never said. Krishna is not saying that you have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning and chant, or Krishna is not saying that you can't chant in the night. Krishna is not saying that you cannot walk and chant. Krishna is not saying that you have to sit in Padmasana and chant. Krishna is giving full freedom. Nowhere other in any aspect of our Sanatan Dharma, this much freedom is available. You can wear jacket and chant. You can wear mask and chant. You can cover your eyes and chant. You can open your eyes wide and chant.
Just chant.
Just chant. You can chant loudly. You can chant softly. Everything, all, you tell me that, Prabhu, this is the problem that we cannot chant, and Krishna will give you an answer for that. So how many of you will chant? Very nice, Mataji. Very nice, Prabhu. Very nice, excellent. Very nice, Mataji.
The issue is this regularity. That's the main problem.
Regularity, no problem, Prabhu. Aram se you can chant, na? Somewhere. You figure out your time.
I understand.
You figure out. If you are waking up at 6 o'clock,
While driving to work.
I do the same thing when I go to work, 1 hour constant. But if I'm working from home, it's all different case. I forgot to chant.
Correct. You're not only in the picture. I am also in the. I will also consider mine in the same
All
line.
of us.
There's no difference.
Yes, I
But in life now, if we want to achieve something, somewhere we have to put that
Effort.
effort.
yes.
And Krishna is saying, give me only little effort. Krishna is not saying, give me 5 hours of your time, 10 hours of your time. Baba, 7 minutes you give me, rest I will take care for you. I will cover you. I will protect you. I will take care of everything for you. All your miseries are mine. All your pains are mine. All your problems are mine. All your goods are also mine. All your bads are also mine. Everything I'll take care of you. 7 minutes. I want you 7 minutes you do, sit in one place, take a chanting, saying the name of the Lord while going in the car, bus, train, excellent. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, Bhagavatam says about people who are chanting in various conditions, various times and conditions. Not a problem. But when you want something, when you want to achieve something or attain something or get somebody's grace, little bit, you take out your beads, sit in like a shant place or walk and just chant that. Just for that 7 minutes, just try to focus on that around, and then afterwards you put it back. Right? That we can figure somewhere in the day, somewhere when the children are sleeping, somewhere when our partners are not disturbing, somewhere we should be able to find. To say that we cannot find time is a lie that we are telling ourselves. Because personal experience I have, when somebody is doing some serious studies, they will find time any time in the day. 2 o'clock in the morning. I have seen people studying while putting the baby to sleep. I have seen it. So you cannot say that there is no time. There will be some time. So our kind and humble request, and I am trying to push this point as much as possible, not only for yourself, but I am telling it to myself also, that somewhere we need to show some gratitude towards Krishna for all that we are getting. The air that we breathe, the light that He has given, the comforts, the whatever you sometimes you should look back and see that whatever I have today I actually don't deserve it. Correct? Many people don't have what we have. It's easy to see somebody above us and say she has it, I don't have it. But it is better to see what somebody don't have and what we have. Right? And when we see that is when the real gratitude comes. Krishna, I have not done anything for it, and I have got everything you have given me on silver platter, gold platter. What I can do in return for you? There's nothing we can do in return for Krishna. Whatever we are doing for Krishna, we are doing for ourselves only. But if we keep Krishna happy, everything is,
I have realized if you have that desire, Krishna will create that.
100%. If you have the desire, Krishna will definitely create.
And something controversial also. Try chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra before going to sleep. You will get good sleep.
Yes. Yes.
Not saying that it has to be.
Someone told me once that Prabhu, we cannot read this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Prabhu, it's so difficult. You read that English. What are they saying? Sense enjoyment, pratyahara, close the doors of this, that, life air. So someone suggested, don't worry about it, because the spiritual master is saying that you have to read this. All the acharyas saying why they are working so hard. So he said that just before you sleep, you read. Just read. So that person used to read and go off to sleep. Morning he used to wake up, he used to look, oh okay, one verse finished. Go to the next verse.
Yeah.
So even if you put this, we are laughing at it, but that person is sincerely putting some desire. He's falling asleep, he's putting some desire. Eventually Krishna will give you that intelligence to understand what is written.
Yeah.
People who have never read a single page in their university life, those people are reading Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and they're able to understand. Able to understand means because of the mercy of Krishna, the spiritual master. Chant one round. Even if you are not reading Bhagavad Gita, there are so many small books, 20 pages, 25 pages, It will, Prabhupada takes one verse from Bhagavad Gita. For example, today's verse, Om Iteka Aksharam Brahma. There is a book called Path of Perfection. Do you see Path of Perfection?
No, we don't have.
It should be like a blue binded book.
Yeah, like self-realization. Like self-realization.
That Path of Perfection. Prabhupada actually expounds on this verse. He speaks. Path of perfection means, again, how you're attaining the Supreme. This one, Prabhupada speaks in a more conversational language, right? This happens, that happens and all that. He explains very nicely in that. So, he takes one verse and he expands. So, you just read that. Don't worry. Don't think that you should open this. As soon as you read, you should understand everything. People, 25, 30 years, they've been sleeping on the book only. Still, it is not fully understood. It's not an easy thing to understand Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and the scripture. But with the mercy of Guru, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya. They're saying that we are not able to see the truth because there is cataract on our eyes. So the spiritual master will remove the cataract, only then you can see, right? So, but for that we have to put some effort. Then only we can receive something. So a little bit reiterating, finally, little bit of chanting, 1 round per day. It is essential. It is just like if I say having breakfast, some people will say we don't have breakfast. So I will not say that. It is like saying it's like brushing your teeth. That nobody can say that I don't do. No? So it's like brushing the teeth. So like that, you chant 1 round for Krishna, for yourself. Initially, you cannot chant for Krishna. Okay, no problem. Do it like a medicine for yourself, right? After that, you go with your day's work, or you finish your day's work and end with Krishna, or you start with Krishna, or you end with Krishna, or in between you put Krishna in between. Somewhere you make some plan for him and do it. But that's it. And spare some time every once in 2 days or every day. Read 1 page of the so many small, very beautiful books. If you find philosophical book very complicated, there is a book called Krishna book. You know that thick book right there?
Yeah.
Only pastimes. Which demon Krishna killed in the morning, which demon Krishna killed for dinner, which princess he married, or which person he did, what he told. Full, only pastimes. You can read that also. Fantastic. We have to enrich our lives one way or the other. Right? Otherwise the life will go on. We will go on working, the kids will go on studying, the grandkids will come, house will go, house will come. All of these problems are there only. It's never ending. Right? I've already seen this in 8-10 years of my work life, and nothing has changed. Very honestly, job has changed from job A to job B. Salary is coming in, but the same story everywhere. Today I'm working in Toronto, tomorrow I'm working in Ottawa, day after tomorrow I don't know where I'll be working, but somewhere we'll be working, somewhere we'll be eating, somewhere we'll be sleeping. Is this true?
Yeah.
It's true. So then when are we going to apply Krishna consciousness? When are we going to make a meaning out of this life? Right? That we have to little bit think. And that's what Prabhupada is saying. Give little bit towards Krishna, and then you see how your life, you will find out another dimension to this world which you felt that never existed before. But you always knew it existed, but that dormancy will come out and you'll be able to see. Right? Sorry, I took a little bit more time. Kindly beg your forgiveness.
Taught me last week, and also Krishna Arpanamastu. Offer everything.
Yes.
Thank you. Good
Yes.
point. But let him conclude. And
Yes,
we'll
yes.
talk about that.
Oh,
in a minute.
100%, 100%.
Just the river that you mentioned, which kind of river is, what was the name of the river?
River. After, before the
Viraja.
Viraja.
That's somewhere Vaitarani. I don't know what.
Vaitarani is in the hellish planets.
Hellish planet.
Hellish planets.
Yeah.
Vaitarani is a river of blood, pus,
Blood,
stool.
yeah.
That is towards the hellish planet. We don't want to go there.
Downwards.
We don't want to go there. It's not for us.
Yeah, so the point was, I don't know if anybody has any questions.
So I'll end and then we'll ask a question.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay, so yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsa purayantu tad yadatra saushtavam kinchit tad guru reva me nahi. Whatever mistakes I said in this class are, if you found anything wrong or if you found anything dissatisfying, it's all coming from me because I am limited. But if you found anything interesting, anything that pleases your heart, anything that pleases the mind, please remember it all belongs to the Vaishnavas, it all belongs to my Guru Janas, and kindly please pray for me so that I also go on this path. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Any questions?
If you have any questions, quickly we can take it. I think I also exceeded time, so.
No. Actually, I had a question, but I forgot. Thankfully.
Yes, yes.
We always have